Hello, I'm Pat Harris. I'm a clinical assistant professor from the College of Nursing and Health Innovation. And I want to speak with you about rubrics and the system of GradeMark and Turnitin. The College of Nursing and Health Innovation has used rubrics for many of its courses for a long time. We try to do this for both the faculty and the student benefit. It allows the faculty to be consistent among each other in scoring. It provides the student with the transparency of scoring guidelines. It does help us become consistent in our emphasis on writing throughout the curriculum and the formation of critical thinking. We also use it as faculty to continuously improve our courses. Turnitin provides an originality report through the Pearson Learning Studio's Dropbox, very similar to Safe Assign in Blackboard. There are 3 programs within the Turnitin system. One is the Originality report, or the review of plagiarism. The second is GradeMark, which is a grammar system, an e-rater system for English composition. And the other is PeerMark, which allows the students to grade each other. Currently, the College of Nursing RN to BSN program is using both Turnitin and GradeMark. Within GradeMark, there is a rubric management system which allows us to load an individualized rubric for a particular assignment directly into their program. And it provides an ease of our scoring and comprehensive faculty-student feedback. Let me just spend a minute on the process that students and faculty go through. When the faculty sets up the course shell, they provide settings that will include Turnitin and GradeMark. When the student submits the paper into the Dropbox, he or she receives immediate confirmation that the paper has been submitted. Then once the paper is received, they receive an originality score or a percent score if the faculty setting allows them to do that. When the faculty is ready to grade, they open the document through Turnitin on a document viewer setting, review the originality report, and then begins to score the paper through GradeMark. This screenshot will show you what the student sees when they submit a paper. The blue bolt at the top says that the submission is in process. At the second entry is the originality report. You will note that it is a high percentage because the paper that it is scoring has been previously submitted into the system, so I believe it's 99%. This is a screenshot that shows both the document viewer and the originality report. This is what the faculty sees when they open. All of the red highlights are wording that has been previously submitted into the Turnitin system. What you're seeing now is a faculty view when they're ready to use GradeMark to not only review the grammar and the format of the paper, but provide comments. The blue box at the upper left portion of the slide is how you click into GradeMark from Turnitin, and then you'll see the paper appear. The purple comments are those that are originated by the software within GradeMark, and the blue bubble comments are those that are originated from the faculty. The purple comments also allow the faculty to go in to accept them, dismiss them, and provide individual comments directed to the student about the issue that the computer found. This is the faculty view of GradeMark as the rubric is reviewed. You'll note in the right column there are numbers that are highlighted, and those are faculty selected numbers based on the rubric. So in the body of the paper, the faculty is allowed to score the body of the paper as 2, 1, or 0.5. When the faculty is grading this, they need to go into the column, select the number, and add the rubric percentage to the grade. When the student opens the document because they want to receive the faculty's feedback, they first see the document viewer, the Turnitin score, and then they click on the upper left corner, the blue box labeled GradeMark, and then this is what they see. They look to the right column for the feedback of the rubric. As you'll note, they not only have the heading from the rubric, the score, and then the actual content of what the criteria is for that score. In the upper right-hand corner of the student view, you'll note that there is a originality percentage score of 99%, and then the score on the paper, which is 9 of 10. The student then can go to the general comments, the GradeMark notes, in which the faculty would write some sort of summary comments about the paper. Either you did a really good job here, I liked how you expanded upon this idea, or I believe you missed the mark on this part of the assignment, but any individualized faculty comments that they want the student to see about the paper is written on this screen. As far as the student feedback on the paper, they can scroll through the paper and hover their mouse over each bubble and get the comments. But it is a little cleaner if they click onto the right column and see page by page each faculty comment. And you'll note that there's a comment from GradeMark and then there's an instructor note. So all the comments are here page by page. If the paper on the left side of the slide were scrolled to the page that corresponded with the right side of the slide, you would actually see a highlight of where the comment is so that the student can look at the paper and look at the comments simultaneously. Now, as a faculty using the system, what did we think? Well, we both loved it and we hated it, to tell you the honest truth. We had a lot of contrasting emotion. We loved it because it was extremely efficient. We went from taking about 1 hour to grade each paper to 10 to 15 minutes. Once our learning curve was established on the system and we had individualized our comments so that we could just repeat them over and over. The system, we loved the fact that they allowed us to write our own comments and saved them. And these comments go with us from course to course. So the common comments that I set up in one course follows me through Turnitin to the next course. It automatically saves through work on your paper. Should you get interrupted or internet connectivity goes down, you've not lost your work. That is a great time saver for faculty, and I'm sure you can all relate. We believe it provides a much higher level or more comprehensive level of feedback to the students than would if we were simply taking a Word document, making comments on the side margin column, and then returning to students. And no downloading, no uploading. It simply stays in the Turnitin server and you have access to it. And you also have the information that you know when the student accesses their comments or if they don't access the comments. Now, why did we hate it? Well, the learning curve is very frustrating. It's hard for the faculty to learn a new system and yet provide comprehensive feedback to students. It gets very frustrating the first couple of times you use it. The system doesn't do gray well. You can't fudge. You can't say, gee, it's not really a 1 point and it's not really a half point, so I'll give it somewhere in the middle. The rubric, as it's set up, just doesn't do that. So you either have to have a workaround system or you need to score the rubric and then in the general comments say to the student, I really wasn't clear about where you would score in this category, so I gave you this, even though the rubric says this. Students also don't really like learning a new system. It's an extra step for them. They really just want to open a Word document and see the feedback you provided. So sometimes they don't take time to read the comments. And then you have difficulty with students making the same mistakes over and over throughout the course, and you're wondering why you're taking the time to make all these comments if they're not going to read it. So that's kind of the love it, hate it, the yin and the yang of using this system. Now, what did the students tell us when we asked them how they liked it? And I'm giving you a cross-section of the student comments. The first one really didn't know how they could find it, and we found that tutorials were a bit lacking. So we needed to work on developing new tutorials so that they clearly could understand that their feedback is there and the directions were clear with lots of screenshots as to where they need to go and how they will see it. Other students were very grateful when we pointed out this is how they get their feedback with exact information. And then they found that they liked the level of feedback they were receiving. Another student talked about how difficult it was to get any information. and that it was too time consuming, and that they really didn't feel it was a helpful tool, and they wanted us to go back to grading through Word. And this student talked about she was one of the 40% that received feedback. That comment relates to the fact that I went into the server to see who specifically in the course had looked at their feedback, and it was less than 40% of the students had actually gone in and looked. So now this student seems to believe that it was very easy once she knew how to do it. Again, same thing. It took a while for this student to figure out how to get there, but once they got there, they really felt that they benefited, and but they're still having some difficulty, so their learning curve was as steep as ours. And then another one talks about how easy it was. So what you'll find with these student comments is that they really are all over the place. You know, some like it, some hate it, and then as they get better and more accustomed to it, I do believe they will find that it works quite well. Now, the key to this is, what did we learn from using GradeMark and Turnitin for probably now about 200 students? Students really have to be motivated in order to learn the system. The tutorials need to be very clear, and they need to be designed specifically for ASU's platform. We found that general instructional tutorials that were designed with the system just did not have enough information about what the student actually sees in our platform. Rubrics need to be sufficiently detailed so that they can stand alone, meaning they really need to give enough comments so that the student gets good feedback. You can't just simply write a few words within the category and expect the student to understand when they're seeing it for the first time or the second time, depending on whether they've read it in the course shell. As we said, it isn't well designed for gray. You have to decide whether you want this point or that point. And when you score between the lines, it creates a little bit of difficulty when the student sees one score on GradeMark and then a different score in the grade book within Pearson. And not all assignments lend themselves to specific scoring. So not all of your written assignments will be good to be designed within this system.